Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Global Intelligence Update. We've got a great guest, as always, and a great topic. So, guys, we've got Gavin Nortje joining us this week. And let me do a quick introduction for those of you who don't know who Gavin is. Gavin is the founder and CEO of Gavotech IT Solutions, RIIT Business Systems. Starting Gavotech without a tertiary education, Gavin has grown the company into an award-winning managed service provider, an MSP, that now manages over 1,000 endpoints and secures more than 2,000 devices through robust cybersecurity protocols. In September alone, his team successfully stopped over 10,500 threats. Gavin's mission is to create a safer world where people and businesses can thrive. He is a member of the NSI TSP board, a 40 under 40 honoree, and a local philanthropist, focusing on empowering his community through initiatives like helping youth transitions out of the townships. Additionally, he's an active member of the Mankind Project South Africa. And the topic that we'll be covering today is cybersecurity in business. How much is too much, and what covering the bases look like. So, Gavin, welcome in, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It's an absolute honor being here, guys, and thanks for the beautiful introduction.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So yeah, this is quite an interesting topic, as I don't think many of us, know that the deep side of cybersecurity, and we all think we are secured, but there are some things that people can get through. And you're the expert in this, so I've got quite a few questions lined up for you, and I hope it's some good ones. So, Gavin, if you don't mind, I'm just going to jump into it, and let's start with the basics. Like, what is cybersecurity basically?
So, I mean, cybersecurity is a form I kind of reference it to physical security, right? So it is the amount of layers we put between us and the bad guys. In South Africa, I think a lot of South Africans will know we've got high walls, we have electric fences, we have alarm systems, we have security gates, doors, big dogs, shotguns, or whatever it is to get the bad guy out of our house and keep them away from our house. So basically, cybersecurity is how many layers we put between the baddies and ourselves. And all we're trying to do is, the better the cybersecurity is, we're not going to say that the guys won't attempt to get in, but they want to run up to your house, look at it and go, oh, this is very difficult to get in. The neighbor has a very short wall, so we're going to jump into his yard. So in general, that's basically what cybersecurity is protecting our valuable assets, being IP, business, relationships, and most importantly, our reputation.
Okay, yeah, so that's a good breakdown on that. And then how does cybersecurity impact the businesses?
Well, I mean, we've seen multiple impacts. I mean, the first one everyone knows is financially. A criminal gets hold of your data, holds you ransom, you have to pay a ransom, or takes your business down so you can't generate income. They intercept a mail leaving your business, changing invoicing details, money goes to the wrong person. And then, as I said, reputation. I mean, we've seen many businesses, they were saying 60% of small businesses close within 6 months of a major cyber attack because of the pure loss of money and reputation, because people don't want to deal with people who don't take security seriously.
Wow, no, that's quite hectic, eh? I didn't know about those stats. So
that's a scary stat.
Yeah, sorry, Gavin?
No, I'm saying it's a scary stat. We didn't know it was that high until we've done the research.
Yeah, geez. So is there a certain kind of target, or are cyber attacks just random in general?
It's a bit of both. If you look at like high net businesses, those are very targeted. Those high net businesses have got a lot of intellectual property that they hold, and if that leaks out, guys can mimic their product and manufacture it differently for cheaper. We've seen that from the high side, and a lot of high net value people are what we call fished and impersonated to try and get them to release money or hold them ransom. But there's also a bunch of random attacks where there is a bunch of bots that will scan the network and look for open ports across a certain internet provider, and they say, well, we can get in here, we're going to attempt it, and if they scheme a couple of $1,000s off of you, they score. So to answer that question, it's basically generalist, but you do have people and attackers that target certain segments.
Okay, so then what are the most common types of cyber attacks? I know, of course, they can get in your email, send you an attachment, you download that attachment and run that, and then they've got you. But what other ones are there that we might not be aware of?
So in our business right now, 90% of most attacks come by email. And what they try and get out of you on those attacks is two things. It's called phishing and impersonation. So phishing is to try and fish information out of you. They will send you a link and, hey, please log in here to this email address. And you put your username and password and they're in on your system. They see how your business runs. They impersonate you, and then you start sending mails out to other people. Your customers, either it moves the virus across or it moves the impersonation attack to all your network, or it's exactly what I said a bit earlier on, where they intercept an invoice and the money's paid into the wrong account. So that's the one way. The other thing is ransomware. The nice thing about it is a lot of the technology that have been brought out now, if you have a really good antivirus, ransomware is becoming a lot less. We've seen the ransomware attacks go down at least 15% year on year. So, but that is still a thing where they grab your data, they encrypt it, and you need to pay money to get your data if you don't have any backups. And you are lucky if you actually get your data back. The other one is denial of service, and this happens in big business. We've had one or two small businesses that happens in, is where they absolutely attack your network with a bunch of requests, and it makes your business inoperable. So you can't get data in and out, your website gets taken down, and those attacks just continue hitting you. Those are usually the targeted attacks. So you'll find big business, big online stores, they are the ones that are mostly affected. Then there's the man in the middle attack, which is the one that is probably the scariest, where an email leaves your business or communication leaves your business and it's intercepted and you don't know about it. So you think you're communicating with the person on the other side. Meantime, you're communicating with the man in the middle, and they taking you down this journey of give me this, do this, change these details and all of those. And then there's insider threats, which we're starting to see is becoming more and more of a problem. Data is very important in a business, and a lot of insider staff either by accident leak the data or they do it intentionally. And when that happens, it leaves major breaches in the business. So those are the main ones that we see attacking. There's many other ways of attacks happening, but these are the main five.
Okay, yeah, because I've actually experienced it at the Circle of Excellence. The first day that I started working with Mike and Landy, I got an email requesting that I transfer money because they knew where Mike and Landy were. They were at an event in Hermanus at that time. And the email said, Chris, can you please transfer this amount of money? I'm at the Old Mutual event. And I immediately thought, but wow, that's my first day. How am I going to transfer the money? So I experienced that. Yeah, it's quite hectic how many emails and stuff you respond. Yeah.
We just finished with an investigation with a new client we've taken over, and it was last year December that they were hit, and it's weird the timing that they hit them. So they had a new accounts lady that took over, and these people planted the malicious attack about a month before, and they monitored the business. And then when they saw the new person arrive, so there was a bit of insider information, a mail got sent on the 16th of December, which we know in South Africa, 15th to 15th of January, everybody is on holiday, saying, I urgently need this transfer to be made and all those things. And they lost 3.5 million rand over that little bit of a gap. It happened over 2 days. So yes, so the information that you know or that they know about you comes in many aspects. And it might not even be inside information. It might be that they've spent enough time inside your mailbox to look at your calendar, because we all got calendars online. We've all got those beautiful things. So they can see where your movements are and say, okay, well, you at this event. So for me to build rapport with you or make it sound like I'm true, I'm sitting at the Standard Bank event. I urgently need this payment done.
Yeah. Wow. And that's hectic. We actually had someone else on also this year, Alex Pryor, where she spoke about deep fake videos and that big scandal that happened, where they were able to scam people or scam specific key accountant into transferring $100 million, and they lost it. I don't know if you guys remember, but the story is basically they deep faked a complete Zoom call with the whole board of companies, and they requested this one guy to pay the money over, and they lost all of it. So that's quite scary, man. Just changing things like that. So, Gavin, here comes the big question: how do people in businesses protect themselves?
I mean, this is one of those questions we have: is how much is too much and how much is just enough. So we always say you protect yourself with as many technical measures as you can. I mean, in businesses, we talk about firewalls, we talk about mail security, we talk about mail encryption, have a good antivirus, and most importantly, we talk about access control as well. Who has access to your data in the business and how do they have access? So you have a first layer, which is the physical layer. Employee training or your own training is of very utmost importance. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, probably 10 years ago, there was always a guy from Kenya who won or inherited billions of rands or millions of dollars, and he wanted to quickly transfer that money to you so he can get it, but you needed to do A, B, and C. We don't fall for that anymore because we're very aware of it, and it's happened to many people. The problem is the new way that they social engineer and attack people is completely different. So keeping yourself up abreast against, keep yourself abreast of what is going on and how these guys access, and just be very, very careful when an email comes in to watch where it comes from. Is it a Gmail account? Is it a Yahoo account? Or is it generally a proper .co.za? And then part of the layer structure, like I say, we've got the main layer, which is your physical, your security, your firewalling. Then you layer below that your antiviruses. Then you have your access control. Then you have your training. And last but not least, is probably one of the most important, is ensure we have backups and ensure that you have a plan if this happens. So there's always something we call a disaster recovery plan. And a lot of businesses feel it's not warranted because of the size of our business. At least just have a plan to say, we've put all of these things in place. If the pawpaw eventually does hit the fan and the guys get in and get all our stuff, we can go to our backups and make sure those backups are tested regularly, not just when you need them. Because everybody knows, well, in our game, we've got a saying that you only know how good your backup is when you need it. So I recommend that people go and test their backup on a regular basis.
Okay, so you mentioned Google and Yahoo. Like, how secure are those platforms really then?
It's as secure as you make it. I mean, if I had to go and put a Gavin Nortje at gmail.com and my password is Gavin at Gavotech123, that's as secure as I'm going to make it. So depend on the password policy and depend on what we call as multi-factor authentication, where when I log into Google, what's my next steps? So Google and Yahoo are reasonably secure, but it's very simple for someone to create an account and just go ahead and fake who they are and send it through. So always great to have your own domain. Number one, looks more professional. You can add your own layers of security on your own domain. So always our recommendation is move away from a Gmail account from a business perspective. But to answer your question, it's not completely terrible, a Gmail and a Yahoo account, as long as you set it up correctly and have those right security measures.
Okay, and then you mentioned quite a few steps and few layers. Like, how do you measure if a business has enough cybersecurity then?
I mean, we always do a risk assessment. So in our business, we do a general risk assessment, and once we've completed the risk assessment, our risk assessment is a 4-block assessment, and we have 4 pillars that we look in the business. And once you've run through them, we then sit with the owners and say, all right, guys, what is number one, the actual need of the business? So we run through the assessment and say, okay, what are we happy to take a risk on, and what are we not happy to take a risk on? So big business that needs to be compliant obviously needs more security, more features. Smaller business, less compliance, we just put basic layers of security in. It's that whole pain versus gain. And also, we've got some clients in our business that would spend 100,000 up on security, but that's because it's what's needed. Insurance brokers, lawyers, those kind of guys. And then we have the guys that say, hey, listen, I just want to look after my mail. So let's put a bit of security, put a bit of antivirus. So it's always about your assessment. It's about what compliance do you need to correspond to. So most of us need to have some form of compliance in the business that we need to adhere to. And then how long can we be down for is another question we ask quite often, is in sense of these attacks, how long can we be down? And that always dictates to how much you would look cyber.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, very interesting, guys. Lots of information I didn't know about. And, we always think that we are secure until a breach happens. And yeah, it's like Gavin said, we need to be prepared for this. So if you guys don't have anything in check, I think it'd be good maybe just to reach out to Gavin and see if there's any way that he can help you guys with that. But let's continue, and let's go to the legal side a little bit. Like, what are the legal and the regulatory requirements for cybersecurity? I don't know if all countries are different, or how does that work?
Most countries are different, but there's that general GDPR, which I think most of us need to comply to. Yeah, in South Africa, we've got something called POPIA. But the GDPR, which is your global compliance, is how we manage data, how we look after people's data, how long do we keep it for, what are those retentions? That's the one compliance. And cyber plays a role into that. So if we're going to keep people's information, where do we keep it? How do we keep it safe? Then there's HIPAA, which is a real accountability act, which a lot of businesses should comply to when it comes to holding personal information. And the big one is if somebody's processing credit card information, there's something called the PCI DSS. So this is, if we're going to capture credit card information, what do we have in place to ensure that it's secure and looked after and making sure we don't have a breach? So those are the 3 main compliances we usually look at. There's the ISOs, there's all of those that kind of add along, but those are 3 that we predominantly work with, and they work hand in hand with cybersecurity. So if any of us comply to that, this is kind of the measures you need to take.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So you also mentioned in that you do a risk management with the client before you start. How does the cybersecurity fit in the broader risk management strategy then?
It's interesting how that has shifted. I mean, we used to sit in a meeting only with cyber. We're now sitting in a meeting with access control guys, with accountants, with web developers, with designers. Cyber has become entrenched in every aspect. And the reason why it's done that is the more that things become Internet of Things based, where things start connecting and reporting to the internet, we need to ensure that they are secure and safe. So as much as you start seeing the markets are moving towards automation and online and always on, every part of the business is now impacted by cyber. So we'll take a payroll. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with the HR team, and we had to sit in with the HR team because their payroll sat on an offsite server and needed to be secured. So the broader spectrum is that cyber plays a role in every part of security in your business.
Yeah, I mean, technology has grown so much. It's like you said, everything is becoming connected to the internet. Everything is sharing data. And we need to be secure, I guess. Things are changing. New protocols, new methods, and we've got to stay up to date. So, Gavin, when a cyber attack happens, like what normally occurs? How does that happen? What can you take us through that, please?
what normally occurs. So let's talk about absolute chaos first. Everyone runs around and says, where did this guy come in? How did they come in? The way in a perfect world that has a disaster recovery plan comes in, there is a detect and contain scenario. So the guy's been allowed in through the door into the house. What do we do with him now? What has he left in our house before he ran away? So we need to know what's he left, how do we contain it? And that's key one. Then we eradicate it. We get it off the system, and whatever damages have been done from there, we recover. Now, here's the other part we find it's very important is if you go ahead and there's compliance, you have to be open to what happens in your business. So we have to let the stakeholders know what happens. So if we're looking at the credit card information, so you'll see there was a data breach a year or two ago with Garmin. Garmin had to let everyone know, hey, listen, we've had a breach. This is the information that has been leaked. This is how we're going to contain it. And this is what we're going to do going forward. And then last important, in our business, whenever we have had a breach, is to look, learn, and improve. So we say, okay, how did they get in? On what means did they get in? And we found it before that one of the directors allowed the guy in. So one of the top senior guys who should know what's going on allowed the issue in, or the guy, the hacker in, to start causing chaos. So our learn and improve from there with continually training with not only the normal staff, but the C-level staff. So in a nutshell, detect, contain, eradicate, recover, make sure we tell everybody what has happened. And then lastly, we have to improve and learn, because what we need to understand is that these guys are ever evolving. And as AI evolves, so does the hacker, so does the attack. And they become a lot more smart and a lot more automated. It means they can do more attacks, shorter spans of time.
Oh yeah, so we really need to stay up to date with these things, and that's where you play such a crucial role, Gavin. That's pretty awesome. Has anyone in chat ever experienced a cyber attack or any type of leak that's happened in your business? Just interesting, like to know. Just want to share this as well. So last week, my mother-in-law was scammed with the MTN scam, where they phone you and say, "Yeah, security's been breached." She like they caught her with that one, but at least she didn't lose money. But it's a good wake-up call. Philippe, yeah.
I had a story about backup. So Gavin, you were mentioning that you need to check your backup. Years ago, I have Mac and PCs in my studio here. And for the PC, I had a Dell backup system that was a kind of online backup. So it was kind of a Dell software, and they were supposed to copy your hard drive in their thing. I don't know. But I never checked until my computer went down and the disk burned or something. And I wanted to retrieve my data, and there were nothing's been copied. And so I lost all the work of many years. So it's a good thing to
That's
check.
painful.
Yeah, that was interesting. Especially the conversation with Dell was interesting, but that's a different story.
And we do realize a lot of these guys are saying, give the service to you. I mean, we buy terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data with one of our partners. Their T's and C's still say we are liable for the backup to make sure it runs correctly. So it's the utmost importance. And not only losing the data, the time it takes to recreate that data is also important. And when will we have time to recreate it? Thank you.
Anyone else have any stories to share? Andrea saying our website hosting and CMS platform provides a monthly report of how many potential hits that are attempting to access our website.
Oh, beautiful. Well done. Not many people have that. Well done.
Yeah, no, Andrea's on it, Andrea's. Awesome. So, guys, if
the other thing I was going to say, Chris, is that recently a recent Australian statistic that just got released states that there has been an 86% increase in small businesses' social media channels and pages actually being hacked, in particular Facebook and Instagram. Just FYI on that. So just be aware of that as to who's actually looking after your social media handles for you. Do you actually own and have administration rights to your guys' social media channels, or do you have someone like a marketer who's looking after it for you?
Wow, yeah, thanks for sharing, Andrea. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, please pop it in. Yeah, Philip, it's scary. Yeah, if you've got any question, more than welcome. Otherwise, Gavin, I want to ask you, besides everything that you've told us and the questions that I've asked, is there any other tips or advice you would give to us regarding this?
I would use the philosophy we have in IT, where it's guilty until proven innocent, not the other way around. When it comes to any IT, any mail that comes in, when it comes to any interactions online, I mean, it is so quick to make a mistake and click on the wrong button. We had it where my son ordered a specific camera for his PlayStation, and it was coming from the States, and we used our local postal service. And I knew it was coming, and by chance I received a mail myself. And I got to that point where I was about to put in credit card details, and I was like, okay, wait, stop. So even myself being in the game, the guys were so good at it, and the way they spoofed, and you've got to go ahead and you've got to double check. If you receive something saying this is the reference number from Aramex, or this is the reference number from DHL, pick up the phone DHL, make sure that it's legit. It might look like they put your credit card details in and they only scam a couple of cents off of you. It's about what they do next and how quickly they empty out accounts and how quickly they get to you. So all I can say is, be very vigilant, be hyper vigilant when it comes to machines. And I know myself as well, being a business owner, I'm very busy, so I tend to scan over emails and don't pay a lot of attention to them where you need to. You need to have a look and say, okay, number one, if someone's changed their banking details all of a sudden of a supplier that I paid for many years, pick up the phone, don't phone the number on the email, actually go ahead and find them on the website, phone, speak to the receptionist and get put through to someone in management and say, hey guys, have you changed your banking details? Because if that happens, the onus falls on you for not having an internal process. So as much as cyber and all the stuff is great, you've got to have manual processes internally that will double check. So in businesses where money is leaving the business, make sure you have a two-step payment plan. So someone loads the payment, someone assesses, looks at the invoice, checks it, corresponds, and releases that. You find the manual process sometimes catches a lot more, because that's something that cyber cannot help. It can help with impersonation, attack, and make sure we don't have weird emails coming in from different people and secure all of that. It's very, very important that there are manual processes as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a great tip. Thanks for sharing, Gavin. Mel asked here, can they hack your phone so that they pretend to be the person you're calling?
Well, there has been, we saw about a couple of weeks ago where they impersonated a AI voice to sound exactly like someone. If we had to look at phone devices, your chances of something like that on an Android device are higher than what they are on an iOS device, because iOS is a closed system, Android is a more open system. So we ourselves haven't experienced where they hack your phone and pretend to be calling, but we have seen it before that we got a client of ours who has a PBX system that runs on their phone. And there was a piece of malware sitting on that phone which jumped and made calls. And it was all spam calls, and they used it as a call center for their minutes across their PBX. So it is definitely possible. We haven't seen it, but there's many ways that they can get in and impersonate.
Sure.
I hope that answers your question, Mel.
Yeah, thank you. What I worry about is this whole kind of, deep fake video and whatever. So I worry for my mother, right? So she might get a message, from me saying that, I'm over in the UK, she's in Australia. I worry that someone will get in touch and pretend to be me. And now with all these deep fake videos, they can pretend to be me and say, yeah, mum, it's actually me. I need some help or whatever. I know there's like this, we need to have some kind of safe word or safe phrase or something to help know that it's actually me or not. So is there anything else that we can do to avoid that?
I think you hit the nail on the head, exactly that. I mean, we've seen quite a few deepfakes around, and that safe word is very pertinent, and it's something that gets communicated on a different platform. So there's many ways. You know, we don't want to become the guy that sits with the foil hats on our head and sits in the basement and doesn't want to connect with people. But it's just certain things, and training is very important, and understanding it. And it's very difficult for moms and dads who get calls from you, FaceTimes or whatever it may be. So nice channel is WhatsApp. WhatsApp is an encrypted channel, and just teaching them to say, well, if by some chance there is a fake account, you will only get a call from me. The guys are working more and more on getting, because there are a couple of meta tags in deepfakes that they can pick up, but it's very difficult for social engineering and social attacks. So that safe word is really important. I like what you said there.
Yeah, okay. And so I communicate a lot with her on Facebook Messenger. It's easy, like, but we probably should move to WhatsApp. I'm thinking.
You can use Facebook Messenger. Make sure you've got your 2FA enabled. So two-factor authentication is a must. And make sure your password isn't anything less than eight characters with exclamations and ats and ASCIIs or whatever it may be. Just make sure that is really secure, and the platform will look after you.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Mel. I see Philippe says we have a safe word in our family too. Oh, that's great. And Andrea's asking, have you guys ever watched the movie The Beekeeper starring Jason Statham? A good movie. Is it about cyber attacks? I haven't watched it. Andrea, is it about cyber attacks and stuff?
So it's actually about the telephone call ones that you get, the phone calls that you receive from people trying to get into your systems, and then they end up wiping out your bank accounts and the whole kit and caboodle that goes on. It's a very good movie to watch. It's a very, you go, holy crap balls, Batman movie, but definitely worth watching.
Okay, great. No, I'll check it out. So yeah, if that's all, no questions else, then I just want to say thanks, Gavin. Did I miss anything? Do you want to add anything else onto the session?
No, I'm good to go. Thank you for your time, and thanks everyone listening, and questions, and interacting on something that is generally boring. I mean, I know cyber is not the greatest topic to talk about, and but thank you for joining.
Yeah, no, it's I want to thank you, Gavin. It's quite an interesting and actually quite an important topic that everyone needs to sit down and plan out. You know, do I have that plan? Do I have that backup? Is my security up to date? So yeah, definitely have to look at that. And I did put Gavin's LinkedIn. Let me just put it in there again. If you guys like to connect with him, see what Gavin is up to, and you guys are more than welcome. So just want to say thank you for everyone. Yeah, sorry, Gavin, you're more than welcome.
Sorry, if anybody wants to DM me, I'll send you a quick check sheet on how to put all the layers in, and what things you need in certain spots of your business.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. So, guys, if you're listening offline or you're listening on the podcast, you won't be able to see the link. You can just go into LinkedIn, Gavin Nortje, you'll find him there, and yeah, then you guys can connect with him. So thanks again, Gavin, and thanks to all the live viewers, those that are listening offline and those that are viewing offline. We really appreciate it, guys, and we hope this session was informative for you. And I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you again next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Take care.